Hello, online crew, and welcome to a new week where we are going to discuss today what you should do instead of caring way too much about what other people think of you. Who's guilty of that? I think we all fall into that trap at various times where even if we consciously don't think it, we are worried about what other people think. So it's one of those things that really, really holds us back. But I want to have a chat to you today about some of the things that you would want to ask yourself. So if you haven't got a pen and a piece of paper, I'm just going to give you sorry, 5 quick things to ask yourself every single day. Instead of giving your energy to other people, give more energy to yourself and the questions that you ask yourself, because you're going to have a much better life, successful life, happier life when you're in control of your brain and rather than letting society take control of your brain, which is basically how 95% of people live on the planet. So I will get into that in a moment. I just want to stay tuned with me because you really want to listen to that information. I just want to share some things with you, some updates. Harley, not sure if you heard that, but he's just choking underneath my feet, my dog. We have our live Q&A Zoom calls this week for those of you in my coaching community. So for those of you in US and Canada, we're on live in 28 minutes time on Zoom. So I'm hoping you guys can join me for that. That's your opportunity every single month to jump on and get coaching and mentoring from me on what's happening in your business, okay? For those of you that attended the boot camp last week, the Attract Prospects with Freebies, sorry, but the videos are gone. The videos in the free group, my social media group, have all been pulled down. The only way you can get ongoing access to them is unless you're a coaching community member. So coaching community members, you're covered because all the videos are already uploaded to the members' website. You've got about 3 more hours to join the coaching community with the special offer. The details are up above. If you're not a coaching community members, but you want those replays and the recording of the special Zoom we did last week, like all the details are up above, but you've only got 3 more hours before that all shuts off. Okay, so just a reminder about that. And for those of you that need it, my branding course starts next week. Again, it's the 28th or the 29th round that I've done of that course. So if you do not have your branding sorted out yet, we start on the 1st of June. Click on the details above and check that out as well. So it's one of the most foundational things you can do is know your brand. So yeah, you can join us next week. Details are above. And if you get yourself into the coaching community, you actually, for $1, you get a $50 discount to the branding course. So you're already $49 in front. How does that work? That's to your advantage. It's not mine. Okay, so just don't miss all of those opportunities there. Now, the other thing, Clubhouse, don't miss it. We're talking about headlines and hooks and how do you grab people's attention on social media. So that's tomorrow. Jump on Clubhouse tomorrow. And I have one thing to do today, which the people that filled out the homework tasks for the boot camp last week, every time you commented in the homework task, your name has gone into a hat, and I'm giving somebody a free month in my coaching community. I got all the names here. So if you filled out 2 homework days, your name is in here twice, etc., etc. So I'm just going to do that quickly now. So somebody's going to get a free month in my coaching community. I've got all the names in here. I'm just going to pick one out. So that is, I remember writing this name because I didn't know whether I'd be able to pronounce it correctly. Sarah DeGruthalomas. If anyone knows Sarah, not sure if she's listening or not, but she's just won a free month in our coaching community. So if someone can tag Sarah, if you know who Sarah is, I'll try to get in contact with her afterwards. So congratulations, Sarah DeGruthalomas. I do apologize if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, but congratulations for that. Okay, let's get into the topic of today. So how many of you admit that you probably worry way too much about what other people think, and so it holds you back from doing things in your business or your life? Be honest, let me know, because I think most people walking the planet feel that way. What I want to share with you in this live, and the reason why I talk about, if we haven't met before, my name's Helen Martin. I'm your online crew captain. So we're here for home-based business owners, direct sellers, social sellers, network marketers, those of you that want to build a business using modern social media strategies and be successful online. That's what we talk about here in our online crew. But most weeks, the first video of the week, I talk about something to do with personal development, personal growth, because I'm not kidding you. It's not all the flashy social media stuff that you want to learn that's going to make you successful. I know you all want to learn about the latest post that's going to get you the most engagement, and reels and stories, and, the latest tactics and the latest strategies and stuff like that. But none of that matters unless you've got it going on here. You believe you can be successful. You believe that you can make a lot of money. You don't have anything that holds you back. Like, they're the things that you need to work on sort of first. Yeah, you want to learn all the cool social media stuff, but if you have a huge lack of confidence, if you hide behind your computer, you don't ever push outside of your comfort zone, it's going to be really hard for you to be successful in this industry. So what you really want to think of and grasp hold of in your brain is that unless you tell your brain what it is that you want, and you're checking in with your own brain every single day, society is going to rule you. Your life is going to be mapped out for you in what society dictates is normal. It's just the way it goes. Unless you control the way you think, the way you act, and being on top of things that aren't working well and pivoting really quickly, you'll end up living your life in what society says is acceptable. Does that make sense to you? So what we want to do is keep checking in with our own head. I know this sounds a bit strange, but it's so true. Unless you keep filling your brain and telling your brain what it is that you want, and you keep checking in with yourself about what's going on every single day, you'll end up just you'll be one of those people that 6 months goes by or a year goes by, and it's like, where the hell did that 6 months or year go by? I haven't achieved anything I wanted to achieve. Can anyone relate to that? Have years gone by, months or years, or days, whatever, gone by, and you're still in the same place that you were previously? Like, you haven't grown, you haven't lost the weight or put on the weight, whatever your thing is. You're not eating any healthier. You just feel like you haven't progressed. If that's you, you're not in tune with the way that you think as much as you need to be, because you got to tell yourself and check in with yourself every single day about what it is that you want and whether you're getting there or not, so you can actually help yourself get there. If you're not talking to yourself, not literally, like, don't take that out of context, but if you're not in tune with the way that you think or the way that you need to think, or checking in with yourself about what's going on in your world, society will rule your life and you'll lead a very average life. So it's your brain that takes control, but it's the way that you think. Okay. So here's 5 questions. Write them down. If you're taking any notice of what I'm saying here, I suggest you write these down, and you check in with yourself every single day regarding these things that I'm about to tell you. Okay. I'm just going to check in. Who's here? Oh, the other thing. I just saw your name, Olive. Just reminded me. I'm having major headaches with some online stuff, unfortunately. So just sort of side note, but this is important. Some hackers have got hold of my website, and they're using the sign up to my coaching community, which is only $1, to run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fraudulent credit cards through them. So thankfully, the system that I use, it's still happening every day by the hundreds. It's blocking, at the moment, 100% of them. It took days to get to the point where, 85 of them got through one day, and then another 20, and then 6 went through on Saturday. And if they get through, like, the dollar goes through and it gets, the payment is cleared, then the next payment is cleared, and then they start using that credit card fraudulently. So, fun and games in the online world. We are navigating on the back end some issues with my website. We're trying to put more security measures in place, which means, unfortunately, we got locked out of my own website for 24 hours. We've resolved that this morning. But I just wanted to share that with you because this is life in the online world. It does happen. You just got to navigate things as they come along, as much as frustrating as they are. I'm calling out Olive because she's on the live and she's helping me big time through this. She's my right-hand girl with my website stuff. But if anybody is trying to sign up to the coaching community and you've had any issues, because that special offer does finish in 3 hours, just reach out because it could be blocking legitimate sign-ups as well. Okay? So just wanted to share that with you. So hello, Cherie. Hello, Yvette. Hello, Faye. Hello, Deb. Hello, Donna. Good to see you on here. Olive, we've got Dan and Merla and Laurie. Good to see you here. I can relate. Yes, that's me. Hello, Jason. How are you? Yeah, it is terrible, but it's just, it's one of those things in the online world. Hello, Joy. How are you? So back to the questions that you want to ask yourself. So one of the things you want to ask yourself every single day is, am I doing something today that makes me happy? If you're not happy within yourself, you are not going to build a successful business. Sorry. But if you're not doing things that make you happy and you're happy within, like no one else can make you happy. Your husband, your wife, your friends, your family, your kids, whatever. No one else can actually make you happy. That's up to you. So what are you doing to make yourself happy every day? Now, so some people that might be simple. It might be exercise might make you feel really good. Eating healthier or reading something or meditating in the morning or, writing in a journal. Like what is something that just might be part of your daily routine and you're looking for something else to make you happy. But what are you doing for you? If you go day in, day out, and you're not doing something every day that makes you happy, you're not going to be as motivated in your business. Happier people are more successful. So how happy are you? And you might be reasonably happy, but every day are you doing something that makes you happy? So you've got to fill your own brain and your own life and your own happiness before you can be happy and a nice person around anybody else, or being a good mentor, or somebody buying something off you as a customer, or somebody joining you in your team. If you're not happy and you're not feeling good, you're not going to build an amazing business, and people aren't going to want to necessarily gravitate towards you if you haven't got some good things going on in your world. So number one, what are you doing for yourself daily? And ask yourself daily, have I done something today to make myself happy? Okay, it seems basic, but I'm telling you, if you don't get in control with your own life, your own brain, and the basic things, it's going to be hard to build a successful business. Number two, is what you're doing, you just want to constantly reevaluating, is what I'm doing good for me or not good for me? Am I reinforcing good behaviors or bad behaviors? Now, that can relate to anything. How long are you scrolling social media? Is that good or bad? If you're scrolling for good and you're actually networking and you're using it for your business, then great. But if you're just scrolling and you're wasting time and you're wasting your life away scrolling and not, it doesn't really mean anything and your business isn't growing, that's not a good behavior. What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are your interactions like with other people, with your spouse, with your partner? What are that? Is this good for me or is this not good for me? Am I reinforcing good behaviors or bad behaviors? There are things that we all do that are bad for us, including bad habits, the way we talk to ourselves, the way we put ourselves down. How many of you have got that little voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, or you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see? They're just negative thoughts that come in, or, that probably won't work before you've even tried something. Like that just little voice kind of comes in. So what you want to be constantly evaluating for yourself and your own brain, is this good for me or not? And really checking in with this. Is this reinforcing a good behavior or is this reinforcing a bad behavior? And if it's reinforcing a bad behavior, then you want to pivot pretty quickly. But unless you're thinking about what it is that you're doing, throughout your day, and some of you are so disorganized or overwhelmed and you know that about yourself, but you don't do anything about it. Or you're not getting any results in your business, but you're not actually doing anything about it. So there's one thing to have a level of awareness about things, but unless you're really checking in with your own head about these things, you won't change anything, and the months and years will go by and you're still in the same place you were a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago. Does that make sense? So you've really got to be checking in with yourself and your own brain constantly to be able to make changes. So ask yourself, is this good for me, or is this bad for me, or am I reinforcing good behaviors, or am I reinforcing bad behaviors? Am I eating chocolate again? Those kind of things. Like, check in with yourself, how you're treating yourself, how you're talking to yourself, what you're putting in your mouth every day. Like, all those kind of things. Okay, it is important. Number three is about questioning the noise and the nonsense that goes through your head, and a really good question to ask yourself on a daily basis when things creep in that are negative, upsetting, or your mind is just, you're overthinking something. Ask yourself, is this true? Do you know how many thoughts that run through your head and you overthink things and you get into overwhelm and none of it's actually even true? It's just a story that you tell yourself, and it's not actually the truth. So that can be in our business model. It can be, well, if I send that message, oh, what will they say? What if they don't reply? What if they do, well, what if? You don't know the truth of that yet. So when you've got things running through your head and you're telling yourself something, or the negative thing, or you look in the mirror and you tell yourself something about yourself, like, oh, you're an idiot, or you challenge your own inner voice, because you've all got one, and for a lot of people your little inner voice doesn't serve you very well. So you've got to be really conscious of picking up on these kind of thoughts and really challenging your thoughts to be able to change. Otherwise, the days go by, the weeks go by, the months go by, the years go by, and you're in the same place again. So that's number 3. Number 4, I've mentioned this over and over again. I hope you've picked it up somewhere along the line. Those of you that work with me closely on mentorship, you'll know this, is asking yourself at the end of the day, what worked well today and what didn't. You need to check in with yourself every single day in what worked well and what didn't, because you've got no chance of changing that unless you're evaluating that. So what worked well, do more of that. What didn't work well, what was the reason for that? Maybe you need to stop that, whatever it was. But unless you're constantly checking in with yourself at the end of every day about how you spent that day, you can't change, because you're not even thinking about it. And again, society will rule your life, because society is full of junk food. Society is full of fast foods. Society is full of go and get a job because that's normal. Home-based businesses aren't. Like, you'll just fall into the trap of what everybody else thinks is normal or is okay, unless you're challenging your brain to think otherwise. So the 5th thing you want to ask yourself at the end of every day is the things that you've identified that didn't go well. How can you pivot? The one thing I've learned to do reasonably well, not always, depending on what the situation is and how emotional it is, but one thing I've generally learned, particularly in my business, to do really well is pivot quickly. And I would really encourage you to put that high on your radar as a skill that you learn to do, is pivot quickly. Complaining gets you nowhere. Wallowing in your problems gets you nowhere. Complaining about the same thing over and over and over and over again absolutely gets you nowhere. Become a solution seeker. Check in with yourself at the end of every day. Well, that's not working. Well, actually, this is not working in general. Okay, how can I pivot? Unless you tell your brain that, you won't, and you'll keep complaining about the same stuff that you've complained about for months and potentially years, and you're no further in your life, your health, or your business, because you haven't pivoted. Life is full of pivots. If you want to get where you want to go, the quicker you can learn to pivot. So if something is upsetting you, if there's a bad situation, then deal with it the best way you need to deal with it. But as I keep quoting to you guys, for those of you that have heard this before, in John Maxwell's book, what's the name of the book, guys? I quote it all the time. I forgot the name of the book. It's under here, under all these books somewhere. I can't remember the name of the book. One of John Maxwell's books. And, if you hang on to something more than 24 hours, you still might be upset about something or angry about something. But if you're not, continually pivoting with your thoughts, that's a choice. And you can choose to be down on yourself. You can choose to get no results in your business. You can choose to not be the person you really want to be, unless you continually pivot in your thoughts, your actions, and things like that. So one of the best skills I've learned to do over the last, probably 5 years is learn to sort of really evaluate things. This ain't working. So what can I do to change that? I'm constantly thinking about that. When you're constantly moving and pivoting and evaluating, you can change. But unless you're thinking about it, and unless you're checking in with your own brain, and unless you've got all of this kind of stuff on your radar, you will actually lead a life that society dictates is normal. But do you want normal, or do you want more? I would imagine if you're here listening to this video and you're with me here in this community, you probably want more. I would imagine that you want to be successful. I would imagine that you probably want to grow and get bigger and better at whatever it is that you're doing at the moment. But it doesn't happen by itself, and it doesn't happen by just learning social media skills. It's not enough. It's what's up here that's going to help you be that person that you want to become, and to be that successful person. Does that make sense to you guys? So I just share this with you because unless you tell your brain what you want, and you're continually checking in with the way that you think and what's going on in your life, your brain will be filled with what society sort of dictates is normal, and you'll just lead a blah life. And I don't want that for you. Okay. Hello, Nicole. How are you? Intentional Living. That's the book. Thank you, Cherie. Intentional Living. So I know you're sort of sitting there taking it all in. Does this, what are your thoughts around that? Like, it makes sense? Do you need to do a better job? Do you think some of these questions you could easily just look on a piece of paper and ask yourself at the end of the day, and just start checking in with what's going on for you and how you can pivot to be a better person or more successful, or, think in a more positive light? Just let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you're absorbing from this, because life will rule you unless you intentionally get hold of your own thoughts to lead the life that you want. Life will happen around you instead of you making life go and happen for you. It'll just, the months and the years will slip by, and you'll think, where did that time go? And I'm no further ahead than where I was. And, we only live once. We've got to make the most of it. We've got to make the best of it and give us our best chance to be as successful and happy and thriving. But it's up to you. It just doesn't happen. Success just doesn't happen. You got to go and make it happen. So what you think about and what you focus on will either make that happen or not. And that's up to you. Okay. So that's why I talk about this stuff, at least sort of once a week, just to try to get you thinking. If you can just pick up one little thing from this and start implementing it, or questioning yourself, or thinking, no, I need to pivot quicker, it's a good thing. Okay. It's a slow process, but, progress is progress. Okay. All right. I used to do that all the time, and I've fallen off the wagon, and I've fallen off the truck. So, we all do, Cherie, and it's okay. Just recognize it and get back on the wagon, get back on the truck, evaluating all the time so you can pivot quicker and just be more successful and be happier and get out of life what you want to get out of life instead of life dictating you. Okay. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I've got 5 minutes before I'm on a Zoom with those of you in the coaching community in the US and Canada time zone. Jump on with me, ask me a question. If you've got any follow-up from the last week's boot camp, ask those questions. There's 2.5 hours left to take advantage of the special offer up here. But any issues, reach out, because of all the issues I'm having with my website. Okay, so I will see. Look, don't forget about Clubhouse tomorrow. And make sure you join me live the day after as well. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.